that you have to do community service and hours and all of this stuff as well. So she's trying to cram all of that in now.
Suppose it went in with an engineer.
Well, I've not gotten to the agenda yet. I got as far as to the page where I could click on the agenda.
She's in engineering, but there is a dorm that has a lot of engineers in it. She's not in that one. And then next year she'll be in, it's more like an apartment, so it's on campus, but it's an apartment. So it'll be her and a roommate, and they'll have a full-size kitchen, full bath, living room, and everything else. She's going with a different one this time. The four roommates that she has now are leaving.
Spin.
So, well, one of them's going home. She stays in.
Hello,
she's pretty mad,
Curtis.
but she stays there. She sleeps all day long. So, Claudia's like.
I had so much fun with your son today at Dream It Do It. I honestly just wish you would like give him to me for a little while.
Take him.
And then
He's gonna be a,
on the other side,
he's gonna be famous.
At the end, Rick
music major.
called up each group and let the chamber ask
And
questions.
she's going into a
So all the adults were
there's
asking questions, but no Connor raised his hand. I have a question for this group.
Let's go do this, and there's a party over here. And a
He
party
said you
over there.
used the term modular homes, and he said in the context of what your presentation was talking about, could you please define modular for me?
But she has tons of time on her hands. But one of them got into a sword.
In the
Yeah.
context of your presentation.
He said that, and then Rick was like,
Next
"Oh, you got
semester,
the questions?" And I was like, "Did y'all make up that
And
song
then the other
yourself?"
one had
couldn't think of
a friend
anything.
from high
He
school
was-
that was a year older than her.
And the little
She
boy had a
already
good,
a roommate.
well, in this particular
So
instance,
she
modular
came in
means,
with them, now
and he,
Yeah.
the other
he
girl
nailed the
roommates leaving,
definition,
she
but
said
yet that's what Connor asked.
that she
In the Dream It Do It, after the presentations were over, Rick called each group up and the chamber got to ask the kids questions. Well, Connor had a question of his own for another group, so he raised his hand. He was like, I got a question. He said, in your presentation, you used the term modular homes. In the context of your presentation, could you please define modular for me?
It means not site built.
In the context of your presentation. And so I thought, oh my God, he's going to throw this. But the kid came back with a great, I mean, he answered it so well.
Who was the kid that answered?
Oh my
Keaton
gosh.
Cook.
Hey, Jenna.
Kevin
Who was the kid that answered Connor Isbell's modular homes definition question? Do you remember?
I told him to move out.
It was Kevin Keaton Cook. Keaton Cook.
Well, they go to church together.
Oh, okay.
They're so competitive.
So that might have been why he asked a question.
I asked him, I hope it's not why I asked the question.
No, it was a legit, but it was a great question, and I just love how he words things. We made them perform their song again. I'll have to send you the video.
I mean, they're friends.
Yeah, it's a friendly competition. Yeah.
Tim has his pulled up.
Tim, did yours pull up?
No, your director's report did, but I'm still waiting
I
for
can't pull it
the
up, but I'm here.
other part to go.
Have my packet because I've got everything I need right here.
It would never been brought up against.
Mine's not pulling up either. It'll pull up to there.
That means it's huge.
The description.
But it's showing I'm online.
His friends.
Hey Gwen, can you come up here for a
Does give me a vote
second?
of confidence. It seems like more
Can you
people
come up here for a
are
second?
there now. I don't know if that's
You or Danny won.
your answer.
We're trying to get KK online.
I don't know.
So if we don't have to show that we are.
Well, I talked to a lot of people
raising
that
prices on a regular
would tell- I'm
basis,
sure they would
then
tell
they're
me.
gonna
The
come back and
Wi-Fi's
say,
terrible.
"Somebody charge $2
Kids
for
are doing
breakfast."
okay.
Wi-Fi is not our friend today, Danny.
Murdered or
So
anything.
we're gonna stop paying $3.
Well, I can get on and it's pulling up this page, but then when I try
And so
They haven't
to
been knifed in the
view,
hall.
We've got to go up and make
it's just
People talk
spinning
about
when it
it.
says I
Some
can't
think
reach
it's
it.
like,
to show that we are trying to close. the
yeah.
gap
So,
between
Maybe it's not so
but it's
bad.
showing I'm online.
It has been, it has not been working all that well since
He's
we
not,
got
they've never
here.
given us the secure, they've just given us the
If
guest.
that was bringing in tons of kids that,
Maybe we need to ask for
That
the
is.
secure.
you know, that wouldn't get a breakfast at home.
Joey said he takes his daughter at home and she
Did
goes
you get it pulled up,
school
Joey?
back up
Mm-hmm.
here.
Oh, I'm pulled
Helping
up.
us to chip away at that.
There we go, I pulled up. It's just, again,
One,
it's going
one,
slow.
one, one ice cream at a time.
Curtis, are you able to pull yours up? Nope.
When you get there today, and she glasses over and she's like, and then she does everything.
I probably just need to start bringing a hotspot. I just need to start bringing a hotspot every.
I'm telling you, they see other people eating, whether they're hungry
No.
or not, they get.
She's got her packet. I can share my computer with her too.
No, I said, are we gonna have to start being tardy just to keep you from going?
What's she say?
But is it showing she's connected
We're
though?
trying not to make a big deal about it, because I don't want her to, I don't wanna make a big deal,
All right.
you know? I'm just like, it's not.
Yours isn't pulling up? You can fake it. Hey Joey, if it, like it's something important, can you share your computer?
Oh, his pulled up?
Oh, such teamwork.
Snuggle buddies.
Oh. That warms my heart.
This meeting is gonna devolve.
Suzanne Oliver, can you
As
get a
it goes
pic?
along,
Suzanne
it's
Oliver.
really gonna devolve. 'Cause I-
Suzanne Oliver.
They've separated now.
Oh, too late. I need you to get a picture of the Snuggle Bunnies over here. They are precious. They're sharing a computer. Look how sweet they are.
Hey, let me get a second.
I'm gonna look like I have abs.
I'm just trying to look taller than Curtis.
Merle's jealous. She wants her picture made.
No, girl.
Hey, I think she's in the background on one of those.
Do we get it?
I get more pop-ups.
Could you see that? I could totally see that.
When there's a picture.
Don't wear that blouse again, or, I thought it was thinner than that. Hair looks terrible. I took pictures of North Platte all the time. I was never in them, but I took them all.
People will be waiting. They're waiting. Mom and Daddy are
They love seeing
impatient right now. They're gonna wonder what's wrong. She can keep trying to refresh and we'll.
I can't.
You-
Y'all know Gwen got a new puppy, it's so cute.
You know, next time, let's have
Precious.
7 or 8
Wild
color copies
child.
of the,
We will do that. 7 or 8 colored copies next time.
Yeah, with
Since we
the
can't
board
depend on the
and
internet.
with the school logo.
Well, I've seen it, but I've not clicked on it yet.
I don't know if you can.
Show him.
Can I, okay, I will after the meeting, because we're already 3 minutes late.
I got something to share.
Oh, okay. We will, in fact, I'll show it to the whole board so they, okay. Okay.
Does he feel harassed?
He feels very harassed. All right, are we ready? I think we're ready. He hates colored copies.
Yeah, the ink.
He wants everything to be on the computer.
We're important, aren't we?
You won't win that with Merle. Hey, we're in cahoots.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. First item up on our agenda is approval of our agenda as presented. Do we have any additions or deletions anybody would like to add for tonight? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve our agenda as presented. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, we'll move on to our financial report for March with Mr. Ray.
Everybody should have the March financial statements in their board packets. Just point a few things out in general purpose. Next month, we'll get the retroactive effect of the adjustment for average daily attendance from the county funding. I don't think that'll have a material, well, it won't have a material impact on our revenue. It is a slight decrease, but nothing to be concerned about. In the financial statements that you have for March 31, we do have an actual property tax collection greater than our budget, so we will have a surplus in that line item, which is good. And same with property or sales taxes rather. The offset to that is in 99-100 transfers out. We have not budgeted for the property purchases. The Wiggles and Giggles and the Marshall Street 2 houses come into a total of about $230,000. So that'll offset some of those gains in property taxes and sales tax. But overall, I feel like we're on track to end the year at a surplus. Federal projects, we're within a month and a half of collections in arrear. You spend the money, you apply to get reimbursed, you get reimbursed. So we're about 30 to 45 days out on our reimbursements. That's what I would consider timely. And then your central cafeteria, we are still in the surplus. Year-to-date, we are $6,000 to the positive. So I will caution that that is a piece of equipment that breaks, that needs to get replaced. That goes pretty quickly. But we are definitely in a better position than we've ever been. So
Scott,
be
that was we're 6,000 to the good, but that includes the 10,000 we put in
No,
earlier?
we have not transferred, the transfer in of $10,000 is budgeted, but we haven't done that.
Okay, so it's purely a 6,000 to the good.
We're
Yes,
functioning in the black.
if
That's
we,
absolutely-
if we did have a piece of equipment that exceeded our surplus, then I would utilize that transfer from GP if we need it.
Okay, perfect.
So I'd recommend that you, if you don't have any more questions, approve the financial statements.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve our financial report for the month of March as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions, comments, or discussions for Mr. Ray? Hearing none. Kim, could I have a roll call vote, please?
K.K. Webster.
Yes.
Tim Bible.
Yes.
Merle Cross.
Yes.
Joey Smith.
Yes.
Curtis Isabel.
Motion carries. Moving on to our budget amendment number 2.
Budget amendment number 2 just reflects a federal project fund addition. And this is a new grant, Title IV, Part A. It's a block grant, student support and academic enrichment. There's the scope or the umbrella of what these funds can be used for is pretty broad. If you have particular questions on what we are actually using it for, I think Lori Collins is in charge of that. But we've budgeted $29,980, which is the grant amount, and we have until September 30th, 2020 to expend those funds. We anticipate that the majority of the funds will be expended before June 30th, but any remaining can be carried over into the next fiscal year.
This was the grant that we received from, that we wrote to purchase, so we could incorporate the STEAM grant, or the STEAM camp at North Clinton. And so all of this money is being used for stipends in our partnership with ORAU, where ORAU is going to do the grant this summer with 2 teachers watching and learning. Then the next summer, those teachers will take over that grant. And then a big portion of it is just buying the materials and supplies for the STEM camp.
Okay.
And there's no budget amendment recommended for general purpose or cafeteria at this time.
Okay.
That'll be next month.
Yes. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve budget amendment number 2 as presented. We have a motion and a second. Any further questions, comments, or discussions for Mr. Ray? Hearing none. Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
K.K. Webster.
Yes.
Tim Bible.
Yes.
Merle Cross. Joey Smith.
Yes.
Curtis Isabel.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business requiring action by the board is approved lunch prices for the 2019-2020 school year. I'll entertain a motion to approve our lunch prices as presented.
Let me kind of explain what we've done here is, every year we have to do the paid lunch equity formula to show that right now we don't charge paid students the same amount. We get federal reimbursed at a higher rate. And so we, by federal law, have to show that we are trying to close that gap. And we can do that in increments of up to 10 cents a year. is the maximum, correct, that they make us do?
The maximum increase that they
Requ-
requires 10 cents. We can do more if we elect to do so, but
But they require the 10
the
cents.
10
And so,
cents is, well, I guess, their minimum.
so right now, the reimbursable rate for a free lunch is over $3, but yet this year, we're only charging the paid students $2.60. So we have to show the federal government that we are trying to close that gap. And so we'd like to do that in the spring so that we can send notification to parents in the spring so they can prepare for the increase. And so that will put lunch, proposing that we increase lunch, which really isn't an option, we have to $2.80, which is a 10-cent increase, and then just do a 5-cent increase on the breakfast from $1.60 to $1.65. And reduced prices will stay the same for the students who qualify for reduced.
Does anybody have any other further questions or comments for Kelly or Mr. Gray? I'll entertain a motion to approve lunch prices as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
KK Webster.
Yes.
Tim Bible.
Yes.
Merle Price.
Yes.
Joey Smith.
Yes.
Curtis Isbell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on, we'll go to our budget for the 2019-2020 school year on our second reading.
There
Not really any changes
There were no
at all.
changes made
None at all.
from last month, so everything has stayed the same. We feel confident in our predictions at this time, knowing that it's kind of a moving target, and we'll make adjustments as we need to as the year unfolds next year, but we feel very confident in the budget that we are presenting.
Okay.
And as we are presenting this budget, obviously, the teacher raises were rolled into this, and I received several, both verbal and through email, just signs of appreciation. The teachers are very, very appreciative for the raise that they're actually going to feel this year and see, but there was lots and lots of positive comments just about how appreciative they were for the board's support in approving that.
All right. Any further questions or comments?
I've had several teachers come up and tell me the same thing.
Good.
It's
They are really appreciative of it. Which time we wish we could do more.
And very deserving.
Oh,
Very deserving,
definitely.
yes.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve 2019-2020 budget on second reading.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
KK Webster.
Yes.
Tim Bible.
Yes.
Merle Price.
Yes.
Joey Smith.
Yes.
Curtis Isbell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on, we'll move on into reports and information.
Okay, there'll be no report from South Clinton Elementary tonight. Ms. Bonesteel has unfortunately gotten the stomach virus today and had to go home early from school. And so, but she assumed that you would not want her to be here to share her love with each one of us.
Can
So
you
we'll-
reach her through Skype real quick?
She is dedicated, but I don't know that she's that dedicated. So we'll start with Jenna Sharp with Clinton Elementary.
Good afternoon. We just want to say thank you for everyone who attended our art show on April 2nd. We had a great turnout. I appreciate everyone that was able to make it. We want to thank Miss Swanner and Melissa for letting us use the Kincaid House. And they really focused on Appalachian heritage. I thought Allison did a great job, Swanner, of doing different projects for different grade levels, and then also Mr. Case. So when the students came in and they tried out with a variety of songs that they liked. But what he did was he tried to encourage them to use singers such as Dolly Parton or games that were reflected for our Appalachian heritage. So that was a great night. On April 5th, we had our career fair for K through 2, which was also a success. It rained that morning, but somehow, the sun came out and it turned out to be a great day. We had city workers, emergency workers, CUB, and the big one that everybody loved definitely was the Kona Ice. So that was a lot of fun. We also had our glow-a-thon that day, and I don't know who had more fun, the teachers or the students, but we ended up raising around $10,000, which was great for a fundraiser where they weren't selling anything. Parents were very kind and generous and donated. And then the kids got a little bit of a reward too with some glow swag and then the dance day. But it was really neat. They did a lot of dances where they could all do it at the same time. And that was just neat to see the grade level unified throughout the day. So that was fun. Tuesday, you all were there while we honored our classified staff, our support staff. Again, our school could not run without them, so we want to thank them for the job that they do. Several of our sixth graders were part of our Dream It, Do It presentations today, and we are extremely impressed with their creativity. And one thing that I thought was really neat was how they did 3D pictures in a lot of the slideshows. So they were showing some technology that I don't even know how to do, but it seemed like they really grasp how to, or what the industries do. So that was neat to see. They were very creative. We started our Lost at School book study by Ross Green. It's being led by Bob O'Connor. And something that's neat about the book is that it just doesn't throw out a bunch of solutions for behavior. It really has you look at why the student may behave a certain way. And so sometimes we tend to focus on, if they were yelling in class or not complying, focusing on that instead of why they aren't complying. Do they not understand? So I'm anxious to explore that this month with all of Clinton City. TN Ready testing begins next week. We will start with writing on the 16th, and then it will continue the following week. I don't know if any of you all saw the video that I had sent to Ms. Johnson and Ms. Jordan with our sixth graders, but they've came up with a chant, and they say they're ready. So that's gotten us all pumped up. Kindergarten, we have a kindergarten program on the 30th at 1:15 and 6th. And then May 2nd, we have our cookout, and the 3rd is our sixth grade career fair. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Ryle with North Clinton.
We're entering a really busy time of year, but it's really, really good. We've got lots of fun stuff going on. At North Clinton, our staff is wrapping up a Love and Logic book study that the entire school staff has been doing all year. And we've reached a point in our text where it talks about how to help students figure out how to solve problems for themselves with adult help and adult guidance. And that has been marrying very well with Bob O'Connor's book study that we've been working on, and some conflict resolution. He had provided some little conflict resolution cards that also asks students some specific questions to help them solve some problems. So as a building, we're all practicing helping students to do this, to solve these conflicts with adult guidance instead of the adult solving like an immediate circumstance, but the student still having the same continuous problem over and over. So hopefully it will help our students solve problems all through their schooling and all through their life, just kind of giving them a good head start with some of that. So those two book studies are going really, really nicely together for our particular building. On the 26th and 27th of March, we had a kindergarten roundup, the 26th, and we had about 7 families that came in to register in person. And the next day, we had the CPAC, the Community Pre-K Advisory Council meeting, and it was discussed about how to possibly take our current pre-K students that plan to register in Clinton's city schools or at North Clinton and kind of give them a little bit of an advantage of maybe being able to come when they drop off or pick up their student during that school day, and still have that open at night for a roundup in the evening for folks who wanted to, but maybe giving a little bit of an advantage for those who are already Clinton City School pre-K members. On the 28th, we had STEM and music night. For music was provided by our kindergarten through 3rd grade students, and they each had their own little program that they did, and then the Orff Ensemble played, and that was a little sidebar going on while we had students doing science, technology, engineering, and math activities. And families eating dinner and having a little dessert, and we had a really good time together. We also received this month another generous donation from Ridge Church of additional hygiene products that if students can access if they would like to. And then we also had our art display at the Kincaid House. It was a really great time. We had some teachers and students dancing together, doing some folk dances together. That was just really great entertainment for us that evening. And we even had a special display at the art show for our Bridge Club where they had some ceramic, some clay work that they had done, and then some additional artwork that they had displayed as well. And coming up on the 15th of April, we will have our Special Olympics students, and they are already practicing and getting ready with their gym teacher, Ms. Tumblin. And then we will have our spring cookout on May 1st. So we're excited about all the fun stuff in and amongst all that testing business.
Thank you, Ms. Rowell. That concludes our principal reports for this evening.
Thank you, thank you. Next board meeting will be May the 9th. Be sure and put that into your calendars. Sixth grade graduation is coming up on May the 23rd at the Ritz Theater. Last day of school for the students is the 24th. And we've got the Summer Law Institute coming up, so mark your calendars for July the 19th and the 20th. And please let Kim know, have you heard from anybody? I'll be there, and if anybody else would let Kim know as soon as possible on those dates if they work for you. That concludes all of the reports and information, so we'll move on into the director's report with Ms. Johnson.
Okay, so we have a front and back today, but I think we can move pretty fast on it. Before I dive into the actual director's report, just hearing principals talk, I wanted to clarify just a few things before I start on that. First, as you know, you've gotten your director evaluations. The timeline is in there. I did talk to Molly Scarborough, and she has once again agreed to compile my evaluation on your all's behalf. I do need to make a public announcement, though, that the results of that will be discussed or shared in the June meeting, and that is a state law that we publicize when that is going to be discussed. So wanted to throw that out there. Also, with the art show was just simply phenomenal, and I know that you got to see that firsthand. But if you were able to see the large quilt that was made, Ashley Webb and Allison Swanner worked on that quilt, and they worked through the Appalachian Barn Quilt website, the Appalachian Trail, and they built it according to the dimensions to where whoever purchased that, you could become an actual on the trail member. And so lucky for, there were several bids on it, and lucky for us, Scott and Sarah Ray won the quilt. And so as they were discussing where they were going to put it on their barn at that house, I think Sarah just said, I don't know that I want my personal house to be on the quilt trail, so let's donate that to Clinton Elementary School. And so they actually are donating that back to us, and we are going to put it either on the gym or on the auditorium. We haven't decided where it's going to go. So Clinton Elementary School will actually be on the Appalachian Quilt Trail. So that is just so neat that played out that way, and that it gets to stay in our own community, but the kids for years to come will know that they helped make that quilt. So two of the frames were Clinton Elementary, one was south and one was north. So that was exciting news. And then you heard several of them mention Dr. Bob O'Connor, so I just wanted to kind of introduce who he is. But we have repeatedly heard from our staff that they want more professional development, more strategies as we are dealing with NAS or drug babies coming into the school. We are dealing with some pockets of just some severe behaviors that just need an abundance of emotional support. And so teachers are needing to deepen their toolkit for strategies of how to keep these kids successful in the classroom and meet their needs as well as the needs of others in the room. And so Dr. Bob O'Connor, he actually just retired from Oak Ridge City Schools, where he ran a behavior classroom for many years, and he has an abundance of support, abundance of experience dealing with special needs students and then behavior disorder students in a very, very effective way. He is a very knowledgeable man, very calm-mannered, and he is one of those that can come in and you just want to soak up everything that he says. So he's been working with us this year, helping us develop behavior plans for some specific kids, but he really wanted to share with us his root philosophy of how he deals with children. And so we've invited him to come and do the staff book study on Lost at School, and so that started this week, and it's just a very, very powerful, and it's the whole philosophy that kids do well if they can. And so if they can't, they're lacking some sort of skill deficit. So the only way we're going to change that behavior is if we identify that skill deficit and teach them appropriate skills. So dealing with behavior much like you would a learning disability or a learning delay. So it's kind of just a different philosophy. And so we are just soaking him up. But he is really, really good stuff, and we are very, very pleased that we were able to get him to do some consulting with us at Clinton City. As you heard them mention, today was the 6th grade Dream It, Do It team. They presented their interactive websites, and wow, did they do a remarkable job. It's amazing. They had a little bit more time this year to work on it because they toured in November and then had all of this time to create their websites. But they did some remarkable things. They had written songs, they had written plays, they had incorporated 3D pictures. It was an amazing thing, and there was only about 4 of us that were sweating like cats and dogs when the internet went down in the middle of it, and we had all of the chamber there, but we were able to get that back up and running, and we allowed South Clinton's to redo their presentation since they got interrupted in the middle, and that was a great event. So we'll hold the Dream It, Do It Awards on May the 7th at CNS, and that will be in conjunction with our 6th grade and all of Anderson County and Oak Ridge Schools 8th grade teams. So another piece of good news is we received a breakfast cart it was a grant, and it was provided at no charge to us from PepsiCo Foundation in conjunction with the Dairy Alliance. And we have that at Clinton Elementary School, and we did a big kickoff on this. And basically what it is it's giving kids the option to do a grab-and-go breakfast if they don't want to go to the cafeteria. So I know one of our concerns is we wanted to make sure that all kids had breakfast if they wanted breakfast. So we've really made an effort to try to increase the choices and the opportunities that might appeal to different kids who like different things. So we kicked that off, and then Scott Ray has done some analysis. Now, we've only had this for a few weeks, so, the data that we have is very short term, but since we have incorporated this, we have seen an approximate 5.5% increase in breakfast participation rates at Clinton Elementary School. So we're hoping that will just continue to grow. Scott Ray took great joy in putting on a cow costume for the kickoff, and he wore it with pride, and he got the kids really, really excited. And so, Scott, I believe that we have a little something for you today to show our appreciation for you and your excitement for providing a nutritious breakfast to Clinton Elementary School. So I'm going to turn it over to Joey Smith.
Scott, we're always appreciative of your hard work and everybody that works at Clinton City Schools, that we all do whatever we need to provide the things that we need for these kids. We would like to present you with a copy of the 1946 classic, My Friend the Cow.
If you would like to turn that into a karaoke song, we might find a very, very private venue for you to sing it. No. I will do it. It's okay. But thank you.
Scott, for all you
He
do.
really has taken this on and has done a great job as our cafeteria liaison and supervisor. But making sure kids have quality food has been very important to him. So thank you for that, Scott. Tomorrow, our securities cameras in all 3 schools are in. They are up and running, and so we are providing training to administrators tomorrow on the new security camera system. We, at this point, have been very pleased with the quality of the amount of coverage that we're getting, the increased coverage, but also just the quality of the video is just phenomenal. We're able to really pinpoint, and you can see expressions on people's faces, and so we're extremely excited about that. We're still working out a few little kinks with the networking, but we're hoping by next month that Scott will be able to come and kind of show you the quality video and kind of walk you through what it looks like on our cell phones and such. The deadline and update on our RFP with the crisis alert system is that we should have a response. Anyone who's going to bid on that should have that in by this Monday, April the 15th. We had one vendor that actually came for the site visit, so we anticipate that will be the only vendor that will respond to that. And so we should be able to have the contract and the name of the vendor to you all at next month's board meeting for approval, and then that will be installed hopefully over the summer, and we'll be ready to go with that in the fall. Just another little update. Professional development is very high on my list. I think as you look at continuing to improve as a district, we have to continue to improve our craft as professionals. And I think we all need to learn new strategies of how we can become more effective. And so we are embarking on an 8-day training on something that's called cognitive coaching. And so all of our central office principals and then all of our aspiring teachers who have their administrative degrees, we're trying to build that pathway for our future principals when we all get too old to do this job anymore. And we've got to make sure we have a good pipeline of strong people to take over. And so about 13 of us are participating in this 8-day training. And cognitive coaching it really gets you out of your comfort zone, but it is very much about leading through questioning, through reflection, and allowing teachers and even yourself to be self-motivated and self-direction and continued improvement. And so the first 2 days were just absolutely phenomenal as we're learning different strategies and skills. And so the next 2 days will be next week, and then we'll finish up the next 4 days in the fall. But it's just good stuff. And I've been trained on it once, and it's good for me to sit through it again because it's just helped me deepen my understanding of that. So good stuff there. I've already told you that many staff members have reached out and are very appreciative of the new salary schedule and the raise that they will be receiving next year, and I have assured them that will continue to be on the forefront and our priority as we move forward, that we want to continue to keep that as a priority. Just to let you know where we stand with retirements this year, we so far have 2 retirements. Jean Fielden, 3rd grade teacher at South Clinton Elementary School, that was actually she was a WBIR teacher of the month, and then actually won it for the state, and then she was our teacher of the year. So she will be retiring at the end of the year. And then Janice Ramsey, a longtime special ed teacher at North Clinton Elementary School, has decided to retire. And so we actually are getting ready to finalize placements this week. We think that we will have all positions filled hopefully by the end of this week for what we have now, but we certainly are happy for them as they begin their new chapter. Then just a little update on Blaze quickly. Our Blaze CCS track team is up and running. We've got about 40 students in grades 1st through 6th that are participating, and they are running and they are jumping hurdles, and they are doing all kinds of fabulous stuff. Clinton High School has truly been a good friend to us in getting this started. They know that if we can build a quality elementary track program, that is just going to help them, once they get up to high school. And they have actually loaned us a couple of hurdles and things that we can use as we try to build up our equipment. But they're going to host a clinic for them on April the 18th up at the high school. They're actually going to have real time and kind of run it as an actual track event, and then have their high schoolers kind of coaching our younger students. So they've just been a really, really good friend to us as we have embarked upon this, and so we're very thankful for that. And then our Blaze Bowling, if you want to see something that warms your heart, this is probably my favorite thing that we have done all year long. But ET has now named the Clinton Community Center the Alley, so he's giving it a name. But every week about 30 to 35 of our students from all 3 schools come, and to see how just the respect of, you've got kids that are on a team from all 3 schools, and the respect and the support and how they cheer each other on and how they've learned how to score. And Coach Thatcher has done a fabulous job, but to see how they started and where they are bowling now, and we've got kids that their parents have to take them bowling every weekend because they love it and they think it's fabulous. So we're going to wrap it up on May the 1st, but there's talk of doing a fall and a spring session just because the kids have enjoyed it so much next year. But we're going to end it with a staff-student bowling game, and so we have several staff members that are going to come and join them in with the competition on May the 1st, and then that will wrap up our bowling season. And then finally, I just put some upcoming events. This is the crazy time at the end of the year where it's fast and furious, and something special is happening every day in some of the schools, or at least one of the schools. But I put just the big dates on there for you just so that you would have a reference as we move through the end of the year. So that concludes my report. Any questions for me?
Great things happening at Clinton City Schools.
Can I ask you about the breakfast cart real quickly?
Yes.
Do we think we need them at the other 2, at North and South?
We actually have one at South, correct? Has it come in yet, Scott?
Yes, it's at South, it's just, we're trying to do, work out all the kinks at Clinton and, staff South. Probably at this point, we might kick it off at the beginning of next year is where I'm tending, because it does involve a little bit of labor on our part. And so I'm filling that spot in at Clinton, because it's easy in the morning for about the first half hour, and then Airmark takes over the second, or the last 15, 20 minutes.
Is the difficulty finding somebody that can fit in the cow costume at South
That is,
Clinton?
you have to find somebody with,
With a cow physique, is that what you're saying?
not sure I want to continue this part of the conversation. But we are, and then, and at North, since North is breakfast in the classroom, it really wouldn't apply. But we do intend to use the carts at the cookouts, summer feeding, things of that nature, so.
So it's on the way. Any other questions for me? Good things are happening.
All right. Anything else to come before the board? Hearing none, I'll declare this meeting adjourned.